The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Russell. Welcome to the Healing Light Podcast. I am a psychic intuitive who's been reading tarot cards for over 25 years. I'm also Reiki certified. Join me as I read cards, share intuitive messages, promote healing, and much, much more.
Here's your host, Caitlin Russell. Oh, here's your host, Caitlin. Are you here? Okay, let's give Caitlin 1 second. She'll be right with us.
Kelly, you can't listen to his videos right now.
Hey, until then, Mary, you want to introduce yourself?
Podcast.
What the heck is going on?
Caitlin,
Caitlin, we're live on your podcast.
I don't know if she can hear us.
Yeah.
No. So I started to talk about me. Hi guys, Mary Alba. I'm here on Caitlin's podcast. We're going to talk angels and spirit guides tonight. I'm excited about that. And so there's some differences between angels, archangels, and spirit guides. We're going to speak to that. Caitlin, I don't know how. Can you hear us?
Hi, I'm so sorry, everybody. Technical difficulties.
That's okay. We were just keeping the seat warm for you.
That's it.
Hold on.
That's
let me
it.
turn my volume up. I don't know quite what happened, but we're just going to go with it. And you might also hear my dogs in the background. So thank you very much for that, being patient with me, Mary.
Of course.
I appreciate you. So anyway, I wanted to welcome everyone to the Healing Light Podcast. My name is Caitlin Russell, and I am your host. And we talk everything healing, psychic, mediumship, tarot cards, Reiki, anything that has to do with the wonderful world of healing. And tonight we have a very special guest, my friend and mentor, Mary Alba. Hi, Mary. Welcome.
Hey, thanks, Caitlin, for having me. Hi, everybody out there.
Hello. So tonight's topic is spirit guides. So we're going to talk everything about spirit guides, and hopefully you folks will join in. Let's try to get the chat going and see if you have any questions.
Of course.
So let's get the party started.
Yeah.
Mary, I just wanted to. I chose this topic because basically a lot of people are looking for guidance, and they're looking for help in their spiritual journey. And one of the ways that I know that they can do that, and I can do that, and you can do that, and done that, is through spirit guides. Such a general term. It's really out there.
It's true.
So I wanted to find out first, what are spirit guides, and what are they, and how can they help us?
Yeah, it's an awesome question. I think where we run into confusion sometimes is you hear some person talk about spirit guides, you have some person talk about ancestors, angels and archangels, and ask your people, and then everybody's like, who are my people, right? So spirit guides for each of us is somebody that is a spirit that knows us, possibly an ancestral spirit. So we may have folks that have crossed over that are still guiding us. And really what they're there to do with with us, is to help us have guidance. And here's the thing I'll say about that. Guidance isn't always what we want to hear. It's like, what do I do? What do I do now that I got the answer? What do I do with that? It's like, well, you asked, So spirit guides can guide us through day-to-day things. They can help us with the big stuff that we're worried about. So if you're wanting to move or you're wanting to purchase something that's big, they can help with that. They really are the place that I just call them. You lay it at their feet and ask them for help. And there's a ton of different ways. I know we're going to talk some more about that, but that's really what they are. So, I kind of get a kick out of people when they say to me, oh, that's it. We die, we go to dust. I'm like, oh, there's literally a whole other world out there. So you're missing out if you're not talking to some of these deities that can help us, and angels and spirit guides. So spirit guides, like in a nutshell, is folks who know us and want to help us have the best life ever. Yeah.
Perfect explanation. So, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, they can definitely help us with everyday things. And I know that, you can call on them and they answer. And you may not always like the answer they give, but they're there for, right?
Right.
So we talk about spirit guides and people who've crossed over. I've also heard the term archangels thrown around as spirit guides. So how do you make that connection? So how do we put those together?
Okay. So awesome question. So you have the archangels, which are the higher beings of light from the angels. So the big ones that everybody knows is Michael. Everybody knows Archangel Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel. But there's hundreds, if not thousands, of archangels. And so they have their own specialties of work. So if you think about it, like St. Michael's all about protection. So if you're walking alone some night and you're like, oh my God, I don't feel right, just say, Archangel Michael, I need your safety and your protection. Boom, you'll get it. And I can tell you also that some of these messages that you get from spirit guides, aren't these like lightning bolts, wacky in the face kind of thing, though they can be. Sometimes they're just really subtle, I'll tell you, the other day I was like looking for something online to order. And I've worked with this vendor before, and I was like, I know I'm supposed to be ordering something. I know this sounds stupid, but I was like, I know I need to be ordering something. I don't know what it is. All right, God, my folks, tell me what I need to be doing. And I just heard like page 4. Because what they were selling, there was like a lot of pages. And so I went to page 4, and there was 4 books on this particular subject that I didn't know were out there. They were like these like books that I think are going to be really helpful as far as my knowledge on things. But that was like, I just asked my guys, I'm like, all right, you're giving me this feeling, but I don't know what you're trying to tell me. So can you clarify? And then they did. So that's the thing. I think we're worried about whether we're going to offend them or upset them. And we're not. The spirit guides are folks that we know. So your ancestral line knows you. Archangels are, like I said, they're the higher level of angels, the higher level of deities. They have their specialties. They do know us, but they haven't inhabited a body. Angels, with a little a, though they're very important, are, I call them like heaven's, I don't want to say heaven's helpers, but because I want to honor them. But the angels, heaven's angels, they really are there to help us, kind of like all purpose, So I might not ask my dad to help me to find a parking space, but I might ask an angel, or I might ask Archangel Michael, like I said, for, protection when I'm walking down the street. Or if I'm not feeling good, I might ask Archangel Raphael to work with me. And here's how you can work with them, because that's the question everybody has. They're like, great, I can work with them. What am I doing? Right? So there's a few different things that I like to say. Is this answering your question, Caitlin? Did I go off track? I can do that sometimes.
It's okay. No,
I'm like, I went to a whole left over there.
Now I might have some follow-up stuff for you. But go ahead.
So the way that you can work with them from an ancestral, an angel, whatever you want to work with folks. And by work with them, I just mean communicate. Like, it's not any You don't have to do any big thing if you'd like to, of course, but I want to make it simple. So like if you just have a picture of maybe, the person that you want to communicate with, or if you're looking for like an angel communication, you can have a picture. You need some kind of representation. And you want to have it on a place that you can look at it. So, a table, even if it's a small table. And then usually I go with whatever seems to, I can communicate with the most. So here's what I mean. I love to write. I'm a writer. So if I'm communicating with the spirit guide, I will have a notebook and I will write things down, because that my brain's already got that like familiarity with that process of writing. So if I'm talking to a guide, if I'm writing, I'm back in that familiar process. It's just handling it a little bit differently. So, so I'll do like a picture. I might do one of their candles. Like with an altar, if you want to say altar or focal point, like if I have my dad, if I wanted to talk to him, I'd have a picture of him. I'd have a cup of coffee. He liked his coffee. I'd have a sweet because he liked his sweets, and I would talk to him. Some philosophies say you should do that often, and I agree with it. But, I know we all got time issues. So, but just create some kind of representation of what you're trying to connect with. Picture, even their name on a piece of paper, that's fine. And then, say, hey, I got this question or I got this thought, and can you help me? And then you look for the signs. You have to listen and you look for the signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
for
go ahead.
That. So, all right. So it sounds to me pretty simple, right? It doesn't mean that you have to have. I have like a little altar, and I have like Buddha on it, and I have Mother Mary on it, and I have that as a way to reach out to my spirit guide. But I was thinking, that would be pretty simple. You just grab a picture of something, and then you can just call on them that way.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, how many, can you have just one spirit guide? Can you have 5 spirit guides, 2, 3?
I think there's from my research, if you want to call it that, you can have as many as you need at the time. So I know for myself, when I want like ancestral connection, it's usually my dad and a couple of other people that I connect with. But I may ask, like, who can I talk to and maybe get some clarity on this situation? And sometimes that's the communication. You just get an idea of somebody and you're like, oh, okay. But it's just so important to have a place of like dedication. That's not even the right word. Like honor, a place of honor for them, okay. Because you're trying to create a connection with somebody, and even if it's like human, if someone's human, like you call them, you text them, you're like, hey, let's hang out, whatever. You try to create like a bond. You're doing the same thing with your guides because you want to know how to work with them, so you have to connect with them, that way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That sounds right. So
yeah,
we talk about asking your guides.
Yeah.
Do you need to, can you just say, you know what, I really want abundance in my life, or I know what you asked about ordering something online.
Yeah.
Do you need to get like specific, does that help you? Does it matter? I mean, how do you request it?
Yeah. So there's a ton of schools of thought on that, right? People say write as specific as you can. Some people will say write generally, so you give the universe a chance to kind of like maneuver things. I think you write what you want from the heart. You don't want to, or when you're asking for something, you ask from the heart. I mean, the guides aren't complicated, but they want to be respected. So I think, going to them and saying, this is what's going on, and this is what I need help with, and this is what I would like. But if you can, either that or something that's more appropriate for me or better for me, whatever. And then, and that's that. And you let it unfold. I personally give some wiggle room. So I'll write like, hey, spirits, I would love this. This is awesome. But I know there may be other thoughts. So if you could just kind of give me some clarity on that, that would be awesome. I would love that from you. So I do give it a little wiggle room so that the universe can show me an option that I hadn't even dreamed of. So, yeah.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm trying to turn the chat on to see if we've got anybody chatting in.
Oh, cool. I hope we do. That's all right.
Yeah, so I know, for me personally, I know that I was told by another psychic medium that my dad was one of my spirit guides.
Yeah.
And then when I met with you, that I know that you told me that Mother Mary was one of my spirit guides. So I think, that's pretty good for me. I think I would like to probably add more, but do some research on that.
Well, I mean, the other thing you can do is you can write spirit guides on a piece of paper, something that represents them, sit in front of them and say, hey, I think I'm wondering, I feel like I need more of a team, and I'm hoping to learn new spiritual things or whatever it is. So if you guys can give me some signs that maybe I need more people to work with me, I have other spirit guides, if you can make them known, that'd be great. Because even if you don't get new spirit guides, at least you're communicating with them in a different way. You know what I mean? And you're focusing on something. I think we don't ask enough. We don't ask. That's the big thing I want to say to people. Ask the spirits, ask the spirit guides, ask, whoever your people are, because they want to help. And they can't really interfere unless it's like major stuff. So you need to ask them for help. So I think that's a big thing that, for us is that just talk to them. Just talk to them.
I agree. I mean, I definitely, I'll put things out to the universe, but what I could be doing more is putting it out to my spirit guides.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of people saying hi. Yeah. Allison is here. Shay is here.
Hi, Allison. Hi, Shay.
Hi, EYE is here.
Hi.
So hi, everybody. Don't, if you have some questions,
feel free.
Mary, just throw them out there.
All right,
so we know about finding your spirit guides and how to call on your spirit guides. Now, so let's say that you put something out there, and people are always like, I hear this all the time.
Yeah.
In what I do about looking for signs that they're around you or that your question is going to be answered. And don't answer that just yet. I just want to let you know that if you do hear my puppy snoring, that's my bulldog.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey.
In the background. So I just thought I'd acknowledge it in case people are here. But anyway, that's the life when you're on a podcast and you have a dog in the background. So anyway, back to signs.
Yeah.
So people do ask, how do I know that they're around me? What signs should I be looking for? So what are you looking for when you get the answers?
Yeah, again, awesome question. I look for, so if I'm working with spirit guides, which are usually, like I said, ancestral or folks that know me, I'll be looking for a symbol, a sign, a nod towards something that maybe someone in my ancestral line will know. I remember one time I was, I mentioned my dad a lot. My dad passed in 2014. I definitely talked to him. And he said before he passed, he was like, yep, don't worry. I'm going to talk to you when I'm gone. And he does. But I was driving down the road and I'm like, Dad, I'm having this thing. It's making me crazy, right? Not even a formal thing. I'm driving down 93 North in Boston. And a truck pulled up beside me and then cut in front of me. And the truck had, my father's name was Jack. It was like Jack Produce and something else. I was like, you guys can't see my face right now, but I'm like, oh, that was clever. That was so clever. That's a sign.
Wow.
That's a sign. And I know some people will be like, oh, it's a coincidence. Well, everything can be explained away, guys. Everything. So to me, that was like my father going, all right, I got you, So it doesn't have to be, like I said, the lightning bolt that we have the media put out for us. But it can be something that you're like, oh, that was so good. That was so good. That was clever. So yeah, don't explain things away. Look for things that are relevant to you. And here's how I look at it too. If you're considering something's a sign and it's helping, then it's a sign. Who am I to say that's not a sign for you? You know what I mean? Unless it's really outrageous. Who am I to say like that sign is not a sign from your loved one? It's not for me to say. You know better. And you also know when you're trying to make things fit. Let's be honest, right? I know for me, I've tried to make things fit. Oh, that's definitely a sign. That's definitely a sign. It's like, no, it's not. but you know in your heart, you're like, ooh, when you're questioning things, that's one thing. But when you know in your heart, you're like, no, that's all right. I'll keep looking. So that's the thing. Don't give up looking. Just look for the things that resonate with you. And if you don't get an answer, maybe ask here's the thing. This is like a dialogue, guys. Like you can go to your spirit guides and say, hey, did I miss the answer? Like, did I miss something? What's up? And let them clarify for you. As you know, Caitlin, I sometimes call those spiritual 2x4s. Like, ooh, ah. So, so sometimes it's just better to listen and to acknowledge what they're saying. Also thank them. If you're getting signs and symbols and requests granted, absolutely thank them, because they're doing it, they're doing it for you. And yes, they're going to do it for you anyway. But I always think, people like thank yous, right? So back in the day, my mother used to say, like with St. Jude, if you got your petition, she used to pray to St. Jude. And if she got her petition answered, then she would have to publish his prayer in the newspaper. Like that was the thing. That was his thanks, like to say, hey, I got it. And I think we can do that too. Like we can give them an extra cup of coffee, or, we can acknowledge them out there on our Facebook or whatever it is. But it's the gratitude of our spirits that will, they love us no matter what, but it just helps. That's what I always say. So I'm like, thank you, Yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, it may sound, maybe it's a little cliche, but it's almost like, they say, ask, believe, and receive.
Yeah.
So I don't know, we even know where that comes from, but I've used it. So I ask for it, I believe in it, and then it's gonna happen, or I'm gonna receive that sign.
Right.
What I like what you said too is about how you write stuff out because you're a writer.
That's what I do. Yeah.
I think that has helped me. I've gotten away from that, but I like to. Writing is another great way to kind of put it out there.
Yeah.
And you can reflect back, and you can, look back on your journal and be like, hey, this is what was happening on June 20th, 2023. This is what I asked for. And then this happened on June 24th or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's true. Because I think and some people do pictures, like, because they like to draw. So the words, they do a picture instead. I mean, you can be as creative or as simple as you'd like to be. I think it's going to be whatever it holds the message for you the best. So if like, it's funny, Caitlin, because I got away from writing a little bit too. And when I started writing up again, I was like, oh my God, why did I ever get away from it? You know what I mean? It's like, sometimes you get away from it and you forget it's so helpful. But yeah, just if you find you're not getting messages one way, try another way. It does take practice. It takes practice to kind of get that communication going. So don't get frustrated. It takes a little time.
Yeah, exactly. It can. Yeah, absolutely. So this has been a great discussion. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. It's just, so we've got the angels, and we've got the spirit guides, and we've talked about how they can help you, the questions you can answer, how you answer them, looking for signs. Is there anything else that you could think of that where we can connect, or maybe we don't know about what we need to know about our spirit guides?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing to know is that they love you and they want to help you. So no matter what you're sitting in front of them with or talking to them about, first of all, they love you. So they're going to love you unconditionally, right? Second of all, I mean, I think sometimes the spirit guides will chuckle at you like, now you knew that was a bonehead move, right? Not that I've ever had that happen to me. Actually, it's happened a lot, but it's, Now you knew that wasn't a good idea, right, Mary? Yeah, no, I know. We told you. Yeah, you did. Sorry. So that's another thing. It's just that they know we're humans and we're gonna learn and, make missteps, but they love us no matter what anyway. So just let your heart out, like let it out. Cause they're not gonna like make it hard on you. That's not what they're going to do. They may tease you a little bit though.
Right. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
I think people have spirit guides and they just maybe need to tune in to them, that they have them around them, correct? If I'm hearing you correctly, and listen to them and they'll give you guidance.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. What I do is I'll sit down, like I said, if it's, depending on who it is, I will put some things out that represents them for me. And I will sit there and I will take the time. And listen, guys, if you even give them 5 minutes of attention, you want to give them more. But if you can give them something just to say, hey, I'm trying, but like life is crazy and I'm just coming over to give you love and hugs. And, that's fine. That's fine. You're acknowledging them. Just don't make it. People like, oh, I got to do X, Y, Z, so I can't do this. Just do it. Just talk to them or write to them or correspond or send your thoughts, whatever you need to do. Don't make it complicated. It's accessible to you. It's just a skill you have to practice a little bit.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think we could go on and on about this.
I know.
There's just so much, but I really think you've given a great foundation.
Thank you.
So that leads me to, I'm going to do some shameless plugs here. So I know that you have your own website and your Facebook page, and you're all over social media. So if someone were to reach out to you, for example, they want to know who their spirit guides are, reading or whatever, how do they get in touch with you?
So you can email me at marydalba.com, and I'll just spell it real quick. It's MARYDALBA.com. That's my website, also marydalba.com. You can find me on social media. I have the purple hair, so all my pictures have me in some kind of shade of purple. So you can find me. But yeah. So please feel free. And if you have questions, about anything we talked about tonight or whatever, just mary@marydalba.com. Don't be shy and reach out. I'm happy to answer questions.
Great. Thank you so much.
Sure.
You've been a great guest, and I appreciate you. And I just want to remind everybody, if you want to find me, Caitlin Russell, I am all over social media as the Healing Light NH. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, the Healing Light Podcast. Feel free to reach me out for topics that you'd like to see covered or special guests. I'm sure, Mary, we will have you back for
I'd love to
great topic.
Thank you.
I know we could all listen to you for hours.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you again very much for being on the podcast, and everyone have a great night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.